waited so that people wouldn't have to. Okay, now Faithy, you need to be real quiet, okay?
Riddick, somebody's at the door. It's
Okay.
okay.
All right, I'm going to turn the time over to Mr. Smith, who's going to talk to us about the Elevate program. And especially, Mr. Smith, if you could give us a little background so parents understand what it is this will be and what the goal of it is.
Sure. So we are doing I'll wait until the beeping stops. The Elevate, well, there's the beeping again. Okay, so last year, Dr. Noose came to myself and Miss Riddick, who is the mental health practitioner here, and talked to us about the behaviors that the freshmen and sophomores were showing, and how they weren't age appropriate, the ways that they were acting and what we've seen in high schools before. So they were doing a lot of inappropriate touching, having a lot of inappropriate conversations, and just the socializing aspect of high school, they were off. And we kind of cited this as like
He doesn't have a schedule yet.
I guess an issue with COVID, where students weren't really able to socialize and be around each other. So Dr. News kind of laid on us to find a solution. And Miss Riddick and I came up with a program that we are going to try to use through the school, tentatively called Elevate. We've since kind of moved away from the Elevate program because there are 8 steps in it, which is why we originally thought of Elevate. But now we're thinking maybe be great or something with 8 in it, something like that. But I will share my screen so you all can see what we came up with. Let's see here. Oh, where did I put that? Oops. Oh, that is my email. Trying to get that. Let's see. How do I get that away from me?
There's Hi, Miss Shumway. Hi, PTA. I keep coming in and out of focus.
All right. So these are the different scripts. And so what we came up with was having 8 different pillars, so to speak, within this. So you have mental wellness, leadership and development, being a student athlete, art and culture, healthy relationships, academic readiness, adulting, which is just like how to do different things as you move into young adulthood, and cyber safety. So within each folder, there are already pre-made scripts for students to be able to use. And so what we came up with was that if there was a way for students to be able to present these ideas, it would go a lot further than if adults like myself or Miss Riddick or any of the admin decide to try to lead. So what we wanted to do was find students that would feel comfortable presenting these things. And so there's already pre-made scripts that are out with tentative titles, general flow of how the presenter would present, and then allowing space for the presenter to include their own life story or experiences in it, which we think would, help to better connect what we're trying to say than, like I said, adults just standing up there and saying, you all need to stop doing this or that. So that is the basic part of it. I'm trying to think what else. So I mentioned there's 8 of them. Oh, that was another thing. So let me go out of here and see if I can get to this. So this is our overview of it, and you
Okay.
know what we want it to be
Thank
and
you.
how we want it to be. Our goal is to equip students with practical tools and strategies to build resilience, cope with challenges, create a positive impact in their communities. So scrolling down, there's a lot of what I've already explained, but these are the core topics. So all of the students who would take this program would
Okay,
have to
so
take
I have the 20
these
right.
4: mental wellness, academic readiness, healthy relationships, and adulting. And then they can choose any of the 2 of the next 4 to complete the class. So we've gone through a number of iterations of how it could be implemented at the school. Originally, we were going to try to do it as a summer program. That got turned into trying to present it to implement it through our athletics, fall athletics, winter athletics, spring athletics, and just have it like a program for all of them to be able to work, which would be a greater portion of our school, but still leave some students out. Then it has been moved since to the advisory class. So then we have an advisory class here where students can elect to be signed up for this. We've also just recently presented it to all of our counselors here, and they also are trying to find places to use this. I think they wanted to use our program during Ballard 101, I think is what it's called. It's like for freshmen and sophomore, I think maybe during open house or sometime during the early period at Ballard. We also plan to maybe use some of this during a couple of the programs that myself and Miss Riddick, our mental health practitioner, run at the school. So there are a lot of options and opportunities for us to use this. And so that is the basic model and what we have so far. And like I said, we have, whoops. We have these already pre-made scripts, but it's not as if that's all that can be. I mean, if a student feels so inclined, they can do their own scripts and presentations involving any of these things. And ideally, the more any student would add to this, the larger the library for other students to potentially use as well, with the thought that this is a program starting, this is not the program finished, and as it continues to grow and the library of topics and conversation points can also continue to increase so that it can be shared and exist even beyond, you know, us being present at the school. So that is our basic thought for this right now.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much for that. I think the potential of this is just fantastic. A couple of questions I had as you were discussing it is, how will you select students to be your presenters? First of all, I love that. I love that it would be peer delivered.
Yeah.
How will you go about selecting those kids?
So we've already kind of cited some ways of doing it, as far as we have the teaching pathway that we kind of wanted to target them, since, you know, they'll be teaching it in front of students. We thought it would be a natural way for them to be able to get some experience being in front of a classroom of peers and talking. And then we also have some students here who are interested in I can't remember exactly, whatever it is. It's like mental health, mental wellness, but they have another word for it that they've used, but they have their own initiative that they're putting forth in the school. And so we've already reached out to them to look through the mental wellness folder and, you know, see if they, you know, want to try to present it or to give some oversight to it, to see if it, you know, actually fits and is something that students would like. As far as it goes within the groups that myself and Miss Riddick run, we're just going to kind of open it to the group to see who would like to be able to use it. And as it relates to Ballard 101, when we talked to the counselors, they had some ideas, but they weren't certain on, how they would pick who would be presenting. So that is still kind of, I guess, under development to say.
Okay. Go ahead, Lamia.
I was just thinking that the health class would be perfect for that, wouldn't it? The freshman's take, right?
Yes. So my position is already paying for someone to present a lot of this information to the freshmen, and that was done before the program was started. So that classroom could have an opportunity to do this as well. And we've reached out to, I think initially they wanted this to be a junior senior effort, but the more we talk to people, the more they're saying that all classes could benefit from it in some way, shape, or form. So yeah, I don't think, the only thing that I'm thinking of is that because I'm already paying for someone to present this information to them, that I don't want to overdo it with a population that's already getting the information, and I would rather go for the students who are no longer being engaged in this way. But it is possible, and it's not out of the possibility.
Okay, can we then help? I'm sorry to Becky, if you have something, please go ahead. But I was wondering, seems obvious to me, but again, if you tell the kids, like you have maybe a checklist or something, like keep your hands to yourself or ask for permission before, you do something, or things like that. I don't know if that, like how helpful that would be, or like what we can do. We were speaking earlier about posters for vaping and things like that, but then maybe we remind the kids of the simple rules, basically, that everyone should live by. Would that be helpful at all, or relevant to what you're trying to do?
I'm not going to say that it would not be helpful, but I do think that right now for our teenagers, they are getting inundated with so many rules and not enough reason. And so I think being told what not to do is kind of falling on deaf ears for them. Like right now, we have an effort where we are not supposed to have your hoods on. Don't wear hoods in the building. We constantly have to tell kids to take their hoods down, and they're like, but it's cold. Why can't I have my hood up? Or, all of the questions that they have. And what I'm finding is when we tell them, it's for safety reasons, we're just, trying to make sure that all of the students can be seen and that we know who they are and all of those things, they usually go along with it and they're fine with it. But just saying no, don't, stop, they don't really listen to that. So again, I'm not going to say that it doesn't help, but I do think that there probably needs to be some more, I think when it comes to things that are culture led, and I don't mean like geographical culture or ethnicity, I mean like the culture of the school or the culture of what a teen should do. What is it that teens should or shouldn't do? That model is probably best led by other students. There has to be some leader within the pack that stands up and says, this is what we should do for everybody else to follow. And it comes from the top. I mean, it comes from us as well as adults, but ultimately there has to be some student buy-in and understanding. So hopefully our hope is that this can kind of disperse that energy through our school to be able to have a better culture like that. But I think that posters in communication and over exaggerating these points are better once the points have been made. So like after we put this out and students start hearing it, it'll land a lot better than if signs just start popping up saying don't do stuff. Or not that that's the only thing that you would say, obviously. I don't think that that's what you were saying, but just as an example, if signs start popping up that don't have a connecting story to it, I don't know that it will attach as well as it will once we implement it, and then there's signs that remind them of the story they heard.
Yeah, and I think that that's exactly what Lamia's idea was, that if you have themes or catchphrases or slogans that are already in these scripts, once you have the program going, that is something that perhaps the PTA could do to support Elevate for you, is that we could print and put up those posters, because I think that could be very powerful if a child hears it and then sees it and has the reminder of it. But I mean, I fully agree with you that it's a lot more powerful when kids hear the why. Like, why is super, super important, because then the motivation,
that is to all of us.
the motivation is intrinsic. Then it's an intrinsic motivation. So that's fantastic. Another question I have, so you can let us know. You can. It sounds like you're just starting to phase this in your small groups that you and Miss Riddick are holding. That's wonderful. I'm wondering too if there's a way that we can let parents have access to the scripts to reinforce at home. And I know that we're seeing like a massive abdication of parenting, but that's not everyone.
Right.
we still have parents that are, and some that just don't know what to do. So I think it could be powerful if we could make them available to parents to use at home too.
Yeah. That's actually a really good idea. Well, I'll have to run that by Miss Riddick to see how best we could do that. But yeah, I think it might even be good to have a separate set of scripts that are from the parent side that reiterate the conversation that was had at school. But I mean, obviously it's more work, but I mean, I do think that would be very helpful for sure.
That's amazing. That would be amazing. We just doubled your work.
Yeah. I usually double my own work with my own ideas. Like, it's like, I'm like, oh, that's a great idea. Who's going to do that? Oh, it's me. That's right.
That's you.
Right.
That's you and Maggie. Yeah, maybe we should ask Maggie's permission before we say what a great idea that is. That is a great idea. I love that idea. Because then for the parents that are willing to engage in it, and we can help with that from our side, pushing parents in that way. Then they have a script. The school peer has a script. There's a sign in the school about it. I think kids are going to know then, oh, okay, that's how it should be. That's what norm should be. And I love that. That's fantastic. Any other questions for people?
I do have one question. I mean, the message is very clear, and the understand and presenting the why is always reaching much further than just saying don't anymore. I mean, the ages where because I said so, it does not fly anymore. And but in that sense, I feel that just having a written script that is being presented even by peers is still kind of a lecture format. Have we considered using our drama and all the arts kids to do skits that would be recorded that can be put on social media that the kids are sharing? And the reason I'm saying this is because this is the TikTok generation, this is the Instagram generation, this is not the script generation anymore. So the message can reach more kids with them sharing it amongst themselves, just like they share the pictures of the posters being taken down or something like that. just a suggestion and a question as well.
Yeah. I don't think you're wrong. And actually within the scripts, the reason that we went with the script is more about giving anybody who would be presenting on these things a framework to do that from, not so much that they have to stick to a script. It's just so that, like, if you need the facts on how many students are suffering from mental illness, we have those already for you. So you don't have to, this is not a homework assignment. It's just being able to say, like, here is a framework for you to use. And so if a student felt inclined enough to be able to make a TikTok off of it, or to make a video of any type off of it, I agree. I think that would be really good. And we've tried to do stuff like that in the past. Like, I guess it was 2 years ago, we did a mental health for Mental Health Month. We had students who made videos and stuff like that. And it's kind of a mixed bag. I think if it were consistent enough, maybe they would probably work. But in my head, online, the language of online is so negative that sometimes positive messaging doesn't pierce as well as other forms and formats. But I agree. I do think at least that reaches more and is more impactful for them. So there's definitely something to be done there.
I think that's a super interesting idea. And it will be fun to see how this implements and how it rolls out. Thank you so much. Anyone else have a question for Mr. Smith? No. Well, I am so grateful to you and Ms. Riddick that you would invest this kind of time into the culture and the nurturing of our children at Ballard. I'm very grateful. Mr. Smith, this is fabulous. I'm very, very pleased. Thank you so much for all of this work and time. And please know that as a PTA, we stand to support and work with you to help implement these things. So as you come up with ideas and things, if there's something that we could do to help you with, please let us know.
Absolutely. We'll do that.
All right. If there's nothing else, then I'll close the meeting. Anyone else? All right. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming today. And thank you so much, Mr. Smith, for your time. Have a great day.
Thank you. You too.
Bye.